Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Wow.
I was trying to do it last night, and then I was trying to look up this morning, I couldn't sleep, and then I was like, this is perfect, I can get it done, and then the site was down.
Of course, you never know yeah, it's never gonna.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
alt is always down
Yes.
whenever you actually have time to do that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's what happened the other day. I was trying to do a note on the same day, like right after seeing a patient, and the accountant was there. And I was like, okay, well, I can book it. I said, I'll put poses down. And they're like, well, we get it, but it's not showing because it's not converting from CSC. I was
It was inevitable every time I finally would have like an hour to do for documentation. It would be the whole system would be down. Or the day that I had blocked for admin,
Yep.
people would do IT whatsoever. No internet.
I already know. Oh. Oh, so you haven't said anything. We got now we're ready.
I just thought about it. For those of you on YouTube, we'll start momentarily. That's all.
And now it's on.
Right.
Be given cues to rise and be seated at the appropriate times. As a reminder, during the singing of our national anthem, military members should stand at attention, and our civilian guests are invited to place their right hand over their heart. We request that all electronic devices be turned off for the duration of the ceremony. Thank you. We will begin shortly. Major Davis, did you happen to turn on the mic? Thank you. And for those of you in YouTube land, welcome to the graduation ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Major Ryan Kalpinski, Mental Health Flight Commander and Deputy Director of Residency Clinical Training. On behalf of the 316th Medical Group Commander, Colonel Jason Lennon, as well as the Director of Medical Education, the Program Directors, and the graduating class of 2020, we would like to welcome you to the Mountain Grove Medical Clinics and Surgery Center commencement ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the training directors and graduates. And please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Staff Sergeant Javante Coleman and the invocation by Lieutenant Colonel Williams.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free, and the home of the brave?
If it's within your faith tradition, would you pray with me? Oh God, this morning we thank you for this opportunity to share in this graduation ceremony, a time that has been granted to us to celebrate these professionals for their outstanding performance, support, and contribution to our nation. We joyfully acknowledge these recipients, their families, their supervisors, their leadership, and all the virtues which led to this honor. Such virtues like hard work, determination, teamwork, selfless leadership, coupled with commitment. Their willingness to develop their skill sets through learning and growth and development that promotes the health of airmen to harness their inner strength and to not become overwhelmed or to turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms. Their messaging through caring and supporting reminds us of what one author once said: we do not have to struggle alone. Now in acknowledgement and in prayer, we give you thanks for these graduates. For we ask these things in your most holy and precious name we do pray. Amen.
Thank you, Staff Sergeant Coleman and Lieutenant Colonel Williams, for participating in our ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We would like to extend a special welcome to Colonel Jason Lennon, Colonel Rodney Jorstad, Colonel Mark Reeker, Chief Master Sergeant William Schumacher, Senior Master Sergeant Amy Hartman, First Sergeant John Graham, Lieutenant Colonel Christy Oates, all mental health flight members, and graduates, family, and friends joining us today, either in person or virtually. At this time, I would like to introduce our distinguished guest speaker. Retired Lieutenant Colonel David Cordry is the former director of the Clinical Psychology Residency Training Program at Malcolm Grow Medical Clinics and Surgery Center. Lieutenant Colonel Cordry could not be here with us in person today, but please direct your attention to the projector in the center of the room for a special message to the graduates.
Welcome to the graduation for 2020. Thanks to everybody who's coming or attending remotely. Also, I want to reassure everybody I am not a hostage. I'm trying to keep the background pretty austere so that there's no distractions of cats or kids or things like that. And I want to thank the graduates for asking me to speak today. I realize COVID kind of put a bit of a damper on some of your plans for your graduation ceremony. I know it's pretty ambitious initially, but fortunately there won't be any flyovers or former president speaking. You guys are probably not arriving by parachute or jetpack. Your family and friends are probably watching this remotely through Zoom or some other platform. But you can take comfort in knowing that at least keep the background pretty austere so that there's no distractions of cats.
Well, flexibility is the key to air power. Mental health, we like to say flexibility is also the key to sanity. So if you bear with us just temporarily, we're going to see if we can get this to work.
And welcome to the graduation for 2020. Thanks without the love and support of your people. And make no mistake, this has been a great accomplishment. The Air Force has demanded much of you and will continue to do so for as long as you serve. Our nation depends on you, not only to maintain, but to enhance the mental well-being of those who like you, volunteered to be their country's sword and shield and avenger. You're missed, but then thank you guys as well.
Ironically enough, everything did work during the rehearsal. down, just push it. Down.
Thanks to everybody who's coming or attending remotely. I'm not a hostage. I'm trying to keep the background pretty austere so that there's no distractions of cats or kids or things like that. And I want to thank the graduates for asking me to speak today. I realize COVID kind of put a bit of a damper on some of your plans for your graduation ceremony. I know it was pretty ambitious initially, but fortunately there won't be any flyovers or former presidents speaking. You guys are probably not arriving by parachute or jetpack. Your family and friends are probably watching this remotely through Zoom or some other platform. But you can take comfort in knowing that at least you didn't end up having your ceremony at Kathmandu, which I know is a big concern at the beginning of the year. But this year really has brought into sharp focus what's important about graduation, and certainly the ceremony is about celebrating your guys' accomplishments and all that you've done this year, but it's also a time for reflection and gratitude. So first I want to thank all the supervisors, mentors, leaders, people that have given their time and commitment to help develop you, both as mental health professionals and as officers. I also want to offer thanks to your family and friends. They helped you achieve this great accomplishment of becoming psychologists and social workers in the world's most powerful Air Force. No great accomplishment occurs without the love and support of your people. And make no mistake, this has been a great accomplishment. The Air Force has demanded much of you and will continue to do so for as long as you serve. Our nation depends on you, not only to maintain, but to enhance the mental well-being of those who, like you, volunteered to be their country's sword and shield and sentry and avenger. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you guys as well, the graduates. You all chose to take a very challenging path as mental health professionals. All of you chose to serve in the armed forces for a country that's been in conflict for over 20 years. You've all distinguished yourself by completing your dissertation projects or other requirements during your doctorates and master's degrees this year. In addition to absorbing a new culture of the military and meeting the high expectations of Air Force officers. Completing your academic studies and developing your
sincere apologies. All right. Woo, that went well. All right, team, we're going to press on like we usually do. Okay, so I want to thank Colonel Cordry for attempting to speak at our graduation. And if you're out there on YouTube, we really apologize, but I'll show the residents your video afterwards. So following Colonel Cordry, which is a difficult thing to do, the the residents asked that I say a few words. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do that now, especially since we didn't get to hear everything that Colonel Cordry said. If it's all right with you, I'd like to start with a bit of a visualization exercise. A good psychologist always tries to do that. Imagine, if you will, where you were 6 years ago today. Think about what you were doing, especially graduates. Were you applying to graduate school, taking the GRE, writing letters about all of your ambitions and goals? Were you going through college and trying to figure out whether this next step was even worthwhile? And perhaps even you had a career already set forth and you had to make a big decision about whether you took a different path. Now, if we think about 6 years ago, I actually reflect on the fact that I was in your seat. 6 years ago, I was unsure what the Air Force would do for me, what it would challenge me with. And so I packed up my sweet little U-Haul and drove myself to Florida from Texas. Now, on my way to Florida, I had all sorts of ideas about what it would look like, and I can promise you almost none of them were true. However, it ended up being one of the best experiences of my life. Actually, Colonel Jorstad was there. Hey, sir. He was squadron commander when I was there as a brand new psychologist. And, you know, this stuff is not easy to predict. All of you have your assignments. You know what it's supposed to look like, at least in terms of location. But what happens when you're there is really curious. You'll start to wonder if you're prepared. And I want to say to you, you are. You'll look back and be thankful that you had an Air Force internship. You might meet people along your career path that were direct accessions, and that's really challenging. You had this year to soak up all sorts of knowledge and enthusiasm from your colleagues as a class together. You're going to remember this forever. Maybe some of the good things, maybe some of the not so awesome things. Your class is particularly interesting due to a little thing called a pandemic. But I digress. So I was a slightly younger, more enthusiastic version of me. So let's fast forward 6 years. And now you see me here filling in as flight commander for one of the largest mental health flights in the United States Air Force. And you might ask yourself, this guy must be pretty proud, right? You'd be right, I am proud. I'm excited for the opportunity, but what I'm actually more proud of is the years that I've been able to work as a faculty member. So for 4 years now, I've tried to groom budding psychologists, but heck, I'm still an early career psychologist myself. So what I learned most over the last 4 years is that you all know a heck of a lot. You're capable, you're caring, and you're really interested in making the world a better place. And that can't be understated. The Air Force is lucky to have each and every one of you, and you're going to go off to these more remote locations than Andrews, and you're going to have challenges that you're going to have to take on by yourself, maybe at times. But you can always reach back. So never forget that you have a network of people that you can reach to. And in terms of something that Colonel Cordry was going to say, but we didn't get to hear it, the Air Force is going to expect a lot from you. And if I could give you only one piece of advice, it's that I want you to be open, curious, and to cultivate engagement. It's an inside joke, it stands for bocce, but the idea is that you can tackle anything before you as long as you're open, curious, and cultivating engagement along the way. People will help you through it. You're now a respected subject matter expert. Commanders are going to come to you hoping that you have the answer for them. And for my commanders in the room, they understand the responsibility that they bear to the members in their units. And they will look to you when they don't know what to do. In cases that are curious or confusing or even scary, they will look to each of you for some sound advice, maybe just as a sounding board. Now, to the family members here, you may be feeling your heart swell with pride as you watch your loved one reach this pinnacle moment. They are now either a psychologist or social worker in the United States Air Force. I'll let you in on a little secret though. Your heart will continue to swell. Every time you hear from them at their next base, you're going to learn of all the cool things and exciting things and difficult things they're going to do. I can confidently say that each of these graduates is capable of incredible compassion and will show honorable dedication to the health and well-being of countless military members. Being in the DoD health system, we are often charged with doing more with less each day despite inadequate resources, manpower, and time. This is the challenge that your loved ones have accepted with pride, and I know they can handle it. I've seen it firsthand throughout this entire year. Just like the incredible aircrafts flown by the world's greatest Air Force, these bright graduates are innovative and impressive people who are key to our country's air superiority. They're key to the functioning of the human weapon system at every single base they work. And when those people move on to other bases, they continue to spread the good that your family members and friends are putting into each day they show up to the job. So with that, I'd just like to say congratulations. You earned it. All right, now for the official stuff. Based on the recommendation of the program directors, the Graduate Medical Education Committee, and with the concurrence of the commander, the graduates will now be presented with their diplomas. I will introduce each graduate in alphabetical order for each program. Please hold your applause until all graduates of a program have been recognized. At this time, I'd like to welcome Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Stouter, Program Director, to come forward and present the diplomas to the clinical psychology resident graduates and say a few words.
Morning, folks. I want to say again, thank you for your flexibility. It occurs to me that there is a bit of a life lesson in here. In mental health, we deal with the business of people and their problems, and very often they don't come at convenient times or in ways you expect them to happen. We talk a lot to the residents about you may not always know what the answer is, but knowing how to find the answer and working very hard to put the needs of your patients above your own is part of what we do. It is an honor to be around such fine and competent people, so thank you very much. And we will have Colonel Cordery's words a little bit later on. All right, this is the fun part. Residents, I get to be the guy that hands you your graduation certificates. So 15 years ago, I remember when someone handed me mine, and I'm very happy to have this role here for you today. First, I just want to say a few words. It's not going to take long, I promise. But I think the words are important for you to hear. I want you to know that I am very proud of you. Very proud. There was something special about the class this year. The faculty all felt it. Some classes come together as a team, some do not. Some classes realize their potential and do some pretty remarkable things. Others do not. Your class did very well. Very well. Lieutenant Colonel Cordery was of the opinion that this class was one of the best he'd ever seen. Now, I'm not just saying that to give you congratulations and call it a day. Rather, I want you to understand that while I am very pleased to see your clear demonstration of potential, this necessarily does demand that you do something valuable with your capabilities. You've been called and now trained to cultivate and treat the mental health of your fellow military brothers and sisters. Integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. These are not just pretty words. They mean something important. And now you are primed to do some of the heavy lifting in our mission. I can't wait to see what you're going to do. And I also want to thank you. Thank you for no kidding, caring about people and being hungry to learn how to take care of them. You know, we can teach any student how to do cognitive behavioral therapy, how to write an MEB, but we can't teach them to care. That foundation makes it possible for people to leave your presence feeling understood and heard. And that is a rare gift to give to someone, especially these days. Thank you for showing up on time, for listening and paying attention, and for valuing the contributions and perspectives of your supervisors and peers, even when you disagreed with them. And we know sometimes you did. It showed that you had respect and that you believed that people around you deserved dignity. Please keep modeling this. Leaders set the tone in their organizations. Leaders have an inordinate influence over the culture of their units. And very quickly, the Air Force is going to put you in charge of people. Do right by them, please. And thank you for learning quickly how to properly document your patient care and still somehow get your notes closed out within 72 hours. Usually. Your documentation, your interventions, and what you say to commanders, it is all really important because you literally have people's careers and their livelihoods in your hands. This isn't just some job, it's their life. Never forget this. Thank you for not having a raging personality disorder and for helping to cultivate a drama-free work zone. You help to make the place where we spend the majority of our adult lives an enjoyable and productive place to be. I've seen some clinics where this wasn't the case, and it's pretty ugly. Mental health had better have its own house in order, and we better be practicing what we preach. Otherwise, we have zero credibility to offer to our patients and to the commanders that we serve. Never forget that you are the standard for mental health. Please keep acting like it. And finally, thank you for not trying to do this job alone. I sincerely hope that we, your faculty, model to you that you're supposed to be a team. We are supposed to watch each other's backs, both personally and professionally. And it doesn't matter how good you are or how many years you have under your belt, it is wisdom itself to surround yourself with talented people and benefit from their experience. And if you do, not only will you keep learning and be a better provider, your patients will benefit. And that is no small thing. Folks, it wasn't that long ago that you arrived and didn't know much about the roles that you're going to be taking on. We have thrown a lot at you over this past year. Hopefully you remember most of it. I congratulate you in absorbing as much as you did. Congratulations. You are fully trained. And you are ready to take on the roles and responsibilities of your first assignment. You still have a lot to learn, but it's okay. You have a very good foundation now to work from. You did good this year. You did real good. Now go and do something amazing. I can't wait to see what you're going to do. And if given the chance, I will happily serve with any of you ever again. It is a very small Air Force. It just might happen. Thank you. And now it is time for your certificates.
The graduates of the Clinical Psychology Residency have completed a one-year program at Malcolm Grow Medical Clinics and Surgery Center. Clinical Psychology graduates, please come forward as your name is called. Major Katrina Brown. Major Brown will be assigned as a clinical psychologist at Moody Air Force Base, Georgia. Captain Jessica Davis. Captain Davis will be assigned as a clinical psychologist at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana. Captain Fernanda de Oliveira. Captain de Oliveira will be assigned as a clinical psychologist at Guire Air Force Base, New Jersey. Captain Daphne Lugo. Captain Lugo will be assigned as a clinical psychologist at Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina. Captain Kevin Molina. Captain Molina will be assigned as a clinical psychologist at Anderson Air Force Base, Guam. Captain Alexander Purring. Captain Purring will be assigned as a clinical psychologist at Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana. Captain Natalie Roy. Captain Roy will be assigned as a clinical psychologist at Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas. Captain Bethany Young. Captain Young will be assigned as a clinical psychologist at Tyndall Air Force Base, Florida. Please join me in congratulating the graduates of the Clinical Psychology Residency. At this time, I invite Major Holly Cuevas, Program Director, to come forward and present diplomas to the Clinical Social Work intern graduates.
Welcome everyone and thank you. I just wanted to say a few words before the social workers graduate. So throughout the year, I've had the opportunity to get to know each of the social workers personally and professionally, just as your director, but then also as you rotated through the family advocacy program. So I feel like I got to know you maybe a little bit better than normal since I got to supervise you during that rotation. And really to say the year has been a challenge would be a huge understatement. There have been challenges, obviously due to the pandemic, COVID-19, but there's also been a lot of great things that have happened that we've kind of all gone through together. So as I've seen you guys do all that, what has stood out to me is you guys have been able to persevere, adapt, and really just remain flexible and take it all with grace. Things didn't look exactly what we thought they would look like, and you guys still did really great, and you have now graduated. So the big thing that stands out to me is those are key attributes in a leader and what you need to accomplish the mission. So I look forward to seeing and hearing about what you guys do in the future. It's a little bittersweet to me because I'm going to be leaving with you guys around the same time. So you're my very last class, but I can't wait to hear about what you guys are doing, and I really can't wait to serve alongside you. So congratulations. And now you can come up for your certificate.
The graduates of the Clinical Social Work internship have completed a one-year program at Malcolm Grow Medical Clinics and Surgery Center. Clinical Social Work graduates, please come forward as your name is called. First Lieutenant Christopher Berger. First Lieutenant Berger will be assigned as a clinical social worker at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana. First Lieutenant Catherine Edwards. First Lieutenant Edwards will be assigned as a clinical social worker at Hanscom Air Force Base, Massachusetts. First Lieutenant Ronnie Lyman, Jr. First Lieutenant Lyman will be assigned as a clinical social worker at Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana. Please join me in congratulating the graduates of the Clinical Social Work internship. I'd now like to welcome Captain Jessica Davis to speak on behalf of the graduates.
Thank you for your help there. I'm a little vertically challenged. All right, can everyone hear me? You good? All right. All right, congratulations to my fellow residents, and thank you to our distinguished visitors, guests, Lieutenant Colonel Cordry, Major Kelpinski, and Captain Young for helping to make today so special. And a very happy birthday to my mom. She's right over there. There she is. All right. For those of you who do not know me, I am Captain Jessica Davis, and I have the honor of speaking on behalf of my graduating class. Well, gang, we did it. We have one heck of a story to tell, don't we? And that is what today is all about. Today is a milestone and celebration made up of many complex stories. Most of these stories began well before we ever met one another, uniquely starting within each of you and taking many forms. However, there are common threads to these origin stories: a spark of curiosity, the passion to serve, persistence in the face of challenge, and making the choice each day to lean towards knowledge that could empower and benefit the well-being of lives around you. I'm grateful for each of your stories, for they led us to be by each other's side at exactly the right moment within this residency. And then there is the story that we have collectively woven this past year. You could see it in the shared angst of the server crashing again, the ecstasy of turning in the on-call phone, the fact that Toto's Africa is forever associated with Tuesday mornings and burned into your mind, or those delightfully mutual moments when you discover a treat in the break room, actually catch up on your notes, or hear one of Colonel Stouter's notorious groan-worthy dad jokes. Yeah. Our collective narrative is also shaped by change. Our residency started in one building and ended in another. We witnessed the integration of DHA, the development of the Space Force, and the retirement of esteemed leaders in our flight. The necessity of change has also been underscored by Air Force senior leaders and citizens alike as attention grows on racial injustices within our nation and military's culture. And then we have that little thing called a pandemic. This pandemic has fundamentally changed how we engage in patient care and how we interact today. And while change is hard and inevitable, growth is optional. And I can say with confidence that we have truly grown where we've been planted this year. This ability to grow and thrive in change not only defines our class, it highlights the service we strive to do each day as we help our patients to grow, reauthor their stories, and create healthier narratives and choices. I'm a little biased, but I think we have pretty cool jobs. As I pause and reflect on our collective story, I'm truly in awe of what we have accomplished. And I know with absolute certainty that this accomplishment could not have occurred had it not been for the tireless support of our residency faculty and clinic mentors. Thank you for always being at the ready and for guiding our class through this wild residency ride. We couldn't have done it without you. While it saddens me that we must now go our separate ways, I take comfort in knowing that we will forever be connected through our residency story, and know that the lessons and memories we have made this year will continue to inform and guide us no matter where we are. Also, if we were able to grow through this year, then we sure as heck can do anything, right? So there you have it, folks. Here's to the stories that brought us together, the one we made together, the ones we're striving to help and change, and the ones that have yet to be written. Congratulations to the residency class of 2020. Thank you. At this time, Captain Bethany Young and Major Brown will be presenting a gift of appreciation to Lieutenant Colonel Stouter.
Sorry, Captain Davis, got to move this up a little bit. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I know the residence is not exactly how we planned it, but flexibility is the key to air power. So we're just, as Captain Molina said, we're moving and grooving. Colonel Stouter, there are no words that can express how much you mean to all of us. You took over command of the residency in a very interesting time. And I know there was a lot of anxiety and just like, okay, I'm going through this with you, I'm learning with you. And in your own words, sir, you done good. Like, you have just been the pure example of what leadership should be. So our gift for you today, we tried to make it something that we know means a lot to us because you mean a lot to us. So if you'll join us up here. Yes. Does this work?
"101, so bad, they're good, dad jokes." So I would start some of our huddles in the mornings with dad jokes. And I told everyone, this is the pre-COVID days, like you could see them face to face. If you're groaning, if you're rolling your eyes, if you have the pained expressions, please be loud and proud because it's like music to my ears. That's as good as laughing. And then we went to Skype to make sure that we're doing social distancing, and most people have their phones muted at that point, so I can't hear the groans. But I got plenty that I can inflict upon the next group. So
That's the plan, sir.
Star Trek. Just Melina.
So we got him is like a badge, so that when he wears his badge, it's just like a little thing he can clip on to his badge, and it's a Star Trek logo on it.
We got Star Trek sticky notes. The right notes for every enterprise. See what they did there? Sticky notes are the key to civilization, so I'm definitely going to be using these. Folks, thank you.
Sir, have we done good?
You done very good.
Bring it back down. All right. And now the social work residents will present gifts of appreciation to Major Holly Cuevas and Captain Finn Burr.
Thank you, Captain Davis, for adjusting this for me. I know it's becoming a task for you for us to continue doing this. But however, I don't know how we was able to get 3 social workers able to come up here and talk. So I don't know how long we got, but somebody give us the cue when it's time to cut us out. we're actually gonna do this a little bit differently. I know originally we was gonna say a few words, then bring our directors up, but we want to switch it up. We want you guys actually to come forward first. I know how much you guys love public attention, so could Major Holly Cuevas and Captain Denver come front and center to the stage? So we love you guys so much. All 3 of us wants to say some kind words to you both. So first, next up is going to be First Lieutenant Catherine Edwards.
One of the most valuable things that you can give someone is your time. And Major Cuevas, I don't know how you found the time to pour into us like you did. And it wasn't just with us as residents. It was pouring into the family advocacy program, pouring into the mental health flight, and pouring into your 3 kids and your husband at home. And sometimes I think we were kind of your kids here, and you had kids at home. And you somehow balanced it, and you displayed leadership that all of us aspire to. It has been an honor and a privilege of a lifetime to learn and grow from you as a clinician and as a fellow social worker. And I am so happy that our paths got to cross and I got to learn from you over this past year. And I'm so appreciative. And so from the bottom of our heart, please just know that we can never find the right words to convey our thanks or the impact that you've had on all three of us and then everyone else who we serve for and serve with. So thank you for everything that you are and all that you do. And then now I can introduce First Lieutenant Berger.
All right, Captain Burr. I know you weren't expecting this, and you look embarrassed. So I'll try to keep this short. Yeah, she found out about 5 minutes before we started this that we're presenting her something. But it became pretty apparent weeks, months ago that you definitely deserve something also, because you've been a huge part of the residency program and our learning and our training, and you were always available for us and that showed us the way. And as Lieutenant Edwards said, we also can't really express in words just how much we appreciate you, and the new residents are definitely going to be lucky to have you around and to learn off you like we did. Thank you. All right, Lieutenant Lyman's come back up.
All right, I told you guys this is gonna go for a while, but but just some few part words. I mean, I don't think I'll be able to kind of really add anything way more than the other two residents did, but for Major Cuevas, I just definitely want to say thank you. I know oftentimes you always wonder, am I giving enough? And you also questioned yourself time, am I giving you enough time? But I will say, I just want you to know at the end of this residency, you gave us enough. I mean, I'd rather have just a little bit of your time when I know it's genuine and sincere, that you mean it and you're all there in focus, versus having a supervisor there every 5 minutes at my door, right, who really disingenuine and don't really care about, you know, my personal and professional growth. So I just want you to know that you definitely gave enough, man. And Captain Burr, like I said, Lieutenant Berger, you pushed us. I mean, you know, sometimes we get our notes back and we see a lot of red, and sometimes we're just like, oh my God, this may not be for me. I don't know, like, am I writing English? Like, what is going on? But I definitely want you to know that helped push me and it helped me grow. And it let me know you cared, right? Because we can easily just kind of push some notes along, right? We can easily go through the motion, as well as our supervisors. They both have full-time jobs, full-time elements. When I say busy, they're busy, but yet they still find time to continue to pour into us. So I just want to say thank you to you both. All right, that's all I got, because I see Colonel Slider giving me the mean eyes. But, so next we're going to present Major Holly Cuevas and Captain Ben Burr, two gifts from us.
You'll always remember it, don't forget. So thank you for your patience and mentorship.
Bringing it back down. Okay, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please rise for the singing of the Air Force song, located on the back of the programs for your reference, and the departure of the official party and graduates. After, please join us in the back of the room for a reception to congratulate our graduates. Thank you so much for attending.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come to meet our thunder, and boys, give him the gun. Give him the gun. Down he dives, like flames from under, all the one of our horns. To this flame we're down and fight. Hey, nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force.
Please feel free to stay behind. There are some light refreshments in the back of the room. And this concludes our ceremony.
Did I do that?
Maybe.
Oh my God, Rick, did I do that?
You both did. You both spilled your coffee.
I didn't even